Hello, gracefully chosen community, and welcome to Fostered My Stories, the achievement focused podcast for foster care, adoption, orphan, inclusive of the underserved communities. I'm your host, Shalina Michelle Tate, and on today's cast episode, I would like for you to revisit my featured special guest for September, Dr. John DeGarmo. He is a TED Talk motivational speaker, foster care expert, and founder of the Foster Care Institute. Aside from being a dynamic leader, Dr. DeGarmo and his wife, Dr. Kelly DeGarmo, has cared for over 60 plus youth, some for which he has adopted. Welcome back to Foster My Stories, Dr. DeGarmo. How are you doing today?
Very well, thank you. Thank you so much.
No problem. No problem. I'm glad to hear. Well, can you update listeners because I know you do a lot of things in your community. You're always traveling. And of course, the last time we communicated was at the the virtual retreat we just had back in June. Can you or July? Could you update listeners with what you've been up to since doing the virtual retreat back in July of this year for National Youth Day?
Well, appreciate you asking, and you can see I've been still parenting because I just had a child walk past me here.
Oh, yeah.
What I've been up to? Well, I've been working with a lot of agencies since then. I've been doing a lot of training for staff and for foster parents across the country. Um, I am. I did a panel discussion for a film that just came out in
Yes.
June called "The Last Teardrop,"
Yes.
about Bobby Wilson, who was in foster care. His father is the singer Jackie Wilson,
Wow.
who sang so many popular songs. I'm working on a new book right now with my friend Jen Lilly, a Hallmark channel movie actress and foster adoptive parent. Doing lots of live webinars with some agencies online, just to name a few things I'm doing.
Yes. Well, Dr. DeGarmo, I'm super excited to have you on, and just any time that you're able to take, like now, very appreciative for you being able to even come and foster my stories. And then you just listed some upcoming events um, that you are partaking in. What upcoming events do you have that you like listeners to be aware of as it pertains to your expertise and your community?
Well, thanks for asking. So, of course, every Tuesday night we do Foster Talk with Dr. John, a live question and answer session from 8 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on
Okay.
the Foster Parent Help and Support Facebook group page.
Yes.
It's always fun. Always fun. We have foster parents from across the globe who chime in with questions, and of course, we answer them live. Tomorrow night, Monday night, I'm interviewing live the Kevin Peoples, the director of a new movie coming out. The movie's called Life Mark. It's an
Mhm.
adoption film starring Kirk
Yes.
Cameron. It's a powerful film, so powerful. I've had the chance to see it. Movie was released Friday, so I'm interviewing the director, and that's again on the Facebook page, Foster Parent Help and Support page, and I believe that's at 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to that. So those are some things that I'm working on currently. Of course, next Tuesday night, the following Tuesday, I will be doing a live webinar for foster parents in Texas.
Oh,
And then, of course, trying to finish up this book with Jen Lilly. So that's just a few things in the next month or so we're working on.
yes. Congratulations on all your upcoming endeavors, Dr. Garmo. I'm super excited that you mentioned quite a few things that you did. You mentioned, and congratulations about the upcoming book you have, phenomenal actress that you're working with, also the movies that you are involved with, and then your upcoming interview. I actually just saw Life Mark last night. It's a
Oh,
phenomenal movie, had me in tears. This movie that Dr. DeGarmo mentioned, listeners, is called Life Mark. And without giving anything away, it's a true story based off a true story of adoption. Phenomenal movie. The Kendrick brothers, I love their work. And then Kirk Cameron, he's also one of the executive producers. If you get a chance, go see this movie called Life Mark. It deals with adoption and just the decisions and choices we make in life. But the ending is the whole movie's beautiful, and I just I'm gushing over the fact that you're able to sit down with the director and just dive into that film. So when you get a chance, Dr. Garmo, please see it. I know you will. It's phenomenal. It had me in tears. So um, yes, and then also, could you expound, or do you have any news about the movie that you were? So listeners, for some of you who don't know, I had the privilege of interviewing Dr. Garmo last year when the podcast first started. Um, and you were talking, sorry, back in 2020, you were talking about going to a premiere of a movie with Kevin Sorbo. Is that the movie you're talking about that just wrapped up that you're talking about? That
That was last year. That movie is called Chosen.
chose.
A really powerful pro foster care, pro adoption film that was starring Kevin Sorbo and Dean Kane and Eddie
Yes.
McClintock. That was great. That was great fun. Got to had a little cameo of the film, but I
Mm.
spoke at the premiere, did a keynote at the premiere. That was great. And I believe that film, I believe you can find that film maybe on Friendly Network or maybe on PureFlix. I'm not quite sure what network it's streaming on right now.
Okay. Okay. We definitely need to look it up, listeners. I will do my research. It might be on PureFlix. I know. Mr. Kevin, he does a lot of phenomenal work, especially now with faith-based films. I loved him as Hercules, a phenomenal actor. So, and congratulations to you for your participation in that film and your cameo. Um, what? So, for listeners who are fairly new to you as an expert in what you do currently, can you give those who may be new listening just a briefing on just your backstory and how you became the expert you are now as it relates to foster care?
Sure, thanks for asking. So I've been a foster parent myself with 60 plus children who've come through my home. I've had as many as 11 in my house at the same time, which is
Wow.
crazy. Um, got my doctorate centered around foster care, wrote lots of books, traveled the
Yes.
nation and globe speaking with agencies. I'm the founder and director of the Foster Care Institute, which offers lots of training resources and support services and videos, articles, you name it. So a very in-depth platform for all things foster care, if you will. I work with legislators trying to reform the system,
Yes.
um, and just trying to make the system better every single day.
Yes, and definitely appreciate your efforts there, Dr. Garmo. I know, aside from our group that you have really taken under your wings, um, listeners, also another phenomenal leader is Cheryl Williams, who also has a passion, like us, to help reform foster care. So thank you, Dr. Garmo, for just your efforts and just trying to do that. I know it's not easy, and there's so much, laws and stuff in place, but I know with what you do, with your traveling and your speaking, I know it's making a positive impact. So we really appreciate the efforts that you're doing on your end. um, Dr. Garmo, what key things, or well, let me rewind back. So listeners, Dr. Garmo was mentioning, every Tuesday you have your own Facebook Live via the foster parent support page. So listeners, if you are an aspiring foster parent or want to know about, have questions or want to know more about, fostering or adoption or just kinship care, the foster parent support group with Dr. John DeGarmo, and I help with Danny Van, another community leader. We kind of help with the group. If you're wanting to know more questions, if you can hop on Tuesdays and support Dr. Garmo, ask your questions, and he'll answer those questions openly and honestly about how you can get involved with your community and any questions um, that you may have. And so, Dr. Garmo, what are some key takeaways? Of course, you've authored quite a few books, but specifically, more recently, what are some key takeaways you would like listeners to be aware of when reading your books, The Little Book of Foster Care Wisdom, 365 Days of Inspiration and Encouragement for Foster Care Families, and God's Call to the Growing Epidemic, the Church and Foster Care? What are some key takeaways you would like listeners to consider in reading those books or any of your other books?
Oh, thanks for asking. So the first one, the which is one of my two or newer ones, the Little Book of Foster Care Wisdom, and it is again 365 days of inspiration, encouragement for foster parents. It's not a devotional book, but it's just a daily motivational book, if you will. It has a tip every single day. Has some motivational words or quotes every single day as well. Foster parenting is tough. It's a hard lifestyle, and I really emphasize the word lifestyle. It's a very unique lifestyle that so few will ever undertake or volunteer to do. When you bring children into your home who are struggling with trust, struggling with the issues of attachment, may have anger issues or whatever it might be, it's hard. It's hard for everybody involved. So
Yes.
this book was written to really give foster parents some daily tips on how to make it easier for their lifestyle, as well as some words of encouragement. In regard to the book, The Church in Foster Care, I firmly believe that while not everybody can be a foster parent,
Yeah.
everybody can help in some way. And when we have almost 500,000 children in the foster care system. We have 5 million children who experience domestic violence in their home. We have about 300,000 children who are victims of human trafficking in our nation. All of this means there's a child in crisis in every single community, in every single neighborhood, if you will. So it's time for the faith based organizations, people of faith, churches, synagogues, whatever it might be, to step up and say, you know what, we can help too. We can
Yeah.
form our own foster care outreach program. We can help the children in our own community. Going other countries is fantastic for a mission field, but there's a mission field in
Yeah.
every single community, in every single state in our nation. So that book, The Church in Foster Care, was designed for faith-based organizations and people of all faiths to create their own
Yeah.
foster care outreach program, if you will, ministry, if you will, so they can help not only the foster parents, but the children in foster care and the birth parents as well.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Garmo, for expounding on that. And you're right. Definitely missionary work is noble and honorable, but a lot of times as well, sometimes the local need gets overlooked. And so I appreciate how you kind of highlight how it's also just a note to be aware that somebody's right there in your neighborhood, up the street, across town that may need local support as well. So and then also faith-based organizations. Appreciate you for highlighting that as well. How yes, we in the faith-based community, we can also step up, and like you said, not everybody can be a foster and or adoptive parent, but these are some ways they can help, whether through their church, whether through just spending time, mentorship, and we talk about kinship care as well. There's people on the foster parent support page that you have that may be relative to the children that are needing assistance, and they're wanting to see how they can get involved. There's something called kinship care as well, where you may be biological, and maybe you could step in as a biological kinship care placement. But just so many different ways. So thank you so much, Dr. Garmo, for touching on that as well.
My
Um,
pleasure.
no problem. Um, and Dr. Garmo, your time is so valuable, and I definitely appreciate you for just even being here on Foster My Stories. What times do your on Tuesdays can the listeners tune in to your lives in order to be able to support and get that support that they need right there with you?
Right, right. 8 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern time.
8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay. Well, yes, listeners, please mark your calendars. Once again, it's the foster care parent support group. You could look it up. Look up Dr. John DeGarmo. It's right there on Facebook. If you're wanting to get involved in the page, you will have to go through a few questions, just the entry level. But myself and the other admin, will Mr. Danny Van will be able to just go through and just welcome you to the page accordingly, and their support there on the page. If you have questions, if you can't make the live with Dr. DeGarmo on Tuesdays, just come on the page, and um, whoever's in the group, they will try to support your questions, and or anything you post, we'll try to go through it and just see how we can be of further support. Dr. Garmo, I know you have so many words of wisdom, your books, your resources. Can you tell listeners a little bit more about your institute, Foster Care Institute, what all it entails, how people can get involved, what it's about?
Sure, sure. Thanks for asking. A quick search online, If you type in Foster Care Institute or Dr. John DeGarmo Foster Care Expert, it'll come up. Again, it's kind of a one stop shop, if you will, for all things foster care. This is where foster parents can go and get their CEUs and licensing hours, online training webinars. There's 4 years worth of foster care podcasts that I did called Parent Factors with Dr. John. There's articles, there's training, there's oh my goodness, there's so much there, so much there.
Yeah.
So this is what at the Foster Care Institute we work side by side with agencies and child welfare programs to equip staff as well as equip foster parents so they can all be better equipped to care for these children in crisis that they're trying to help.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Garmo. That sounds like a phenomenal. Of course, your website is phenomenal, a phenomenal resource guide for those wanting to get involved. And then a lot of times, the agencies are not open 24/7, but it sounds like that website is a great place for listeners to visit, and they can get their resources and just trainings at any time of day. So thank you for just having the Foster Care Institute, really a dynamic one-stop hub for people to come and learn and grow and ask questions and really be more aware of how they can get involved. So we appreciate just you having that as a central place for people to come. Before we go, Dr. DeGarmo, two questions. Are there any, I know you have some stuff coming up, but are there any special projects or anything else you're working on? I know you say you're working on the book with the actress, you have the speaking engagement with the director of Life Mark, phenomenal movie. Any other projects and services you have coming up that you're wanting people to know about?
Well, I can't give everything away just yet.
Yes, yes, yes.
There is, I believe I'm going to be involved in a movie that's going to be filmed in Georgia in October. This is another foster care film, true story. It's a true story, based on a true story out of Texas. Again, I don't want to give any details away about it yet, but that's something to look forward to. And there's a few other things I'm working on right now, but they're not ready just yet.
Gotcha. No worries, Dr. Gramo. Just appreciate, anything you're involved in. I know that just connecting with the resources and the individuals, you strive to make better changes for the people, the individuals, and the communities. So thank you so much, Dr. Gramo. Before we go, and I always ask this, what words of wisdom would you like to leave listeners as far as those interested in potentially fostering and or adopting, or just have questions in general?
Oh well, foster parenting. Yeah, it's the hardest thing I've done, but it's been the most rewarding thing I've done. Every child has made me a better father, a better husband, a
Yes.
better member of the community, a better person overall. So if someone's considering becoming a foster parent, you don't have to be rich, you don't have to be married, you don't have to have a big house. You just have that desire to help these children. And I can't change the world, and you can't change the world, Shalina. But when we help these children in crisis, their world is changed. Their world is changed, and that's how we make a difference right now.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for that reminder, Dr. DeGarmo. It's so true. We can't change the world. And a lot of times we can't change everyone's situation, even though we want to. But just the bit that we're able to do or connect with each other to do, um, it makes a difference. So, Dr. Gramo, I appreciate your time being here on Foster My Stories. Listeners, feel free to I'm just going to check the page really quick. But if you have any questions that you aren't able to answer right now and would like Dr. Gramo know, please feel free to leave it on the comment section. Um, and I can get those over to Dr. Garmo. Dr. Garmo, what's the best place for listeners, viewers to be able to reach you for questionings? Oh, somebody, let's see, excellent insight, Dr. John. Be there for each child. It changes their world. Yes, thank you. Thank you, listener, for that comment. Yes, and feel free to connect continuously with Dr. DeGarmo. Yes, he does that. Your TED Talk. I said this last time we spoke. Your TED Talk. Dr. DeGarmo did a TED Talk where he was just kind of giving his testimony about a youth that he had cared for, and just really the events as far as what happened with her life. But when you get a chance, listeners, if you go to the Foster Care Institute, Dr. John DeGarmo, you can look it up online. His TED Talks are there. His videos that he mentioned earlier, his trainings, any resource that you have any questions for, you get more insight there. All right. Well, Dr. Grama, thank you so much for your time today on Foster My Stories. You're always welcome and appreciated to come on Foster My Stories.
Thank
Um,
you so much.
no problem. No problem. And also, if you listeners, your upbringing, community service, or job connects you with the foster, adoption, orphan, or underserved community, I would love to have you also on the podcast. You can send a guest request over to Foster My Story Podcast 24/7 at gmail.com, or on the Facebook page. You can message us here on this live and we'll get to you. And then stay tuned. The website for Foster My Stories launching very soon. I can't give a specific date, but it's in the works. Also, make sure to tune in Wednesdays. The official time is at 5, but sometimes those times stretch out. No worries. Via any platform convenient to you, you could catch this replay on the Foster My Story podcast live stream page, where it is streaming now. Also on Red Circle Podcast, Spotify, Amazon Audible and Music, Radio Public, or Google Podcast. And there you can catch any missed episode and content for upcoming guests and contents. And also make sure to tell someone, as always, being fostered, adopted, orphaned, or underserved simply means you're gracefully chosen. Today, we learned with Dr. DeGarmo that you don't have to be rich, you don't have to have a big house, you don't have to be anything but open, willing, and ready to have a heart to help the youth that's in need. And so we appreciate Dr. DeGarmo for being here, his words of wisdom. And as always, take care, listeners. Dr. DeGarmo, have a nice evening. Thank you.
Thank you too.
You're welcome.